Okay, welcome back. Today we are departing Paris for London. This is also the 50th video in this series, believe it or not. So, kind of a special deal. Um, we are actually first going to backtrack though. um, like I said before in previous videos I said that this flight around from Paris to London was going to be mostly just Germany, to be honest. But there are a couple things I wish I had done earlier, so we're actually going to go visit them too. One of them is Le Mans. And I'm excited. I've been working on this quite a lot, actually. Practically most of my Saturday has been spent doing this. um, and I will finally feel like I can fly again. It's January 13th, coming up on that 1 year mark, and God forbid I don't finish on time, I swear. But I think it's okay. I think it's okay if it goes over a year. After all, I'm having fun, and completing something in less than a year is not as exciting to say as that I did a world tour that took longer than a year to complete. So, there's Paris down below. You can actually see the Louvre and the Champs-Élysées and the Arc de Triomphe right there. Isn't that cool? I can see the Eiffel Tower too, actually. Pretty recognizable roads. So, the trip from Paris to Le Mans is actually not that far, but the trip from Le Mans to Stuttgart, which is our first stop in Germany, is quite a while. So, it's actually one of the longest flights in Central Europe, to be honest. Yeah, this is totally in the way of the, we totally could have handled this on the flight from Mont Saint-Michel to Normandy, to be honest. It would have been a slight diversion and we would have already been here, but I forgot. So I re-added it into the flight plan for this flight, and I figured, why not? I gotta see it. Gotta show everybody else what it looks like. Gotta do it this time, so here we are, flying into Le Mans. About the time that I recorded this too, I was watching a lot of the endurance races, the WEC, and Le Mans had just finished, so yeah. I'm a huge fan of WEC. In addition to this, I actually do a tiny bit of driving in like Assetto Corsa, and I love using the endurance cars and doing long Le Mans drives, 24-hour Le Mans races. Which obviously don't come out to 24 hours. It's a little bit difficult to do in VR in 24 hours. But there's Le Mans down below. And it's hard to see the exact outline of the track because it's roads. But down below us, right there, is one of the first chicanes. Or one of the little chicanes on the straight. Which I can't remember what the straight's called right now, so I would say comment down below, but I'm leaving comments out. So, good luck. And here we are off to Stuttgart. Unfortunately, if you'll remember the flight from northern, like Sweden and Norway down to Denmark, we encountered a lot of weather on the way to Berlin, and it catches up to us. This storm, I swear, it did not like us, so it kept following us. You can see on the map exactly how far of a flight that is. Yeah. What are you gonna do? When you get up that far into a flight, you have so much left to do, you might as well just shake it off. Alright, we're on descent into Stuttgart. That doesn't seem like it. I had to skip a couple places that I wanted to show, which is the reason why I wanted to actually kind of redo this whole flight, because, like I said in the Paris tour, this kind of ended up being a tour of, like, my old life in Germany. And normally on tours, what I do is I, set the weather back to, like, few clouds, one of the templated weather systems, so that what we see is never really included, like, by storms, like the ones we're currently flying through. And because I didn't do that for this, we end up in heavy weather for a lot of what we're trying to look at, so. But it doesn't matter, it's just personal stuff, like where I used to live. Certainly not things that other people would probably be interested in, huh? That's the Rhine River down below. I don't know why the title is right there. There you go. I've taken a Rhine River cruise once. One of the most boring things I've ever done. There's a lot of cool castles, but it takes ages to get between them. And here is Stuttgart. Oh wait, no. No. Just kidding. This is the Black Forest. Yeah. Really cool to drive through if you ever have a chance. Coming up soon, though, is Stuttgart. I've been to Stuttgart once. We had an exchange student when we were living in the States, and she was from Stuttgart. And so when we moved to Germany and naturally got in touch with her again, she was like, come visit us. So we spent New Year's in Stuttgart with her and her family. Stone's throw from France. There's Stuttgart below. That's not Stuttgart, JK. It's up ahead. You're going to keep seeing the airspeed warning pop up on the HUD, but we're only going like 1 knot over. So, plus it's a virtual aircraft, and we're not going to die. Overspeed doesn't hurt anything in digital life. There's Stuttgart down below us. We're going to bank it to the left, head to Frankfurt. Everything here is super close together. So it's just going to be, one after the other. I don't know a lot about Stuttgart, to be honest. We didn't actually go inside the town. We just kind of went straight to her house and stayed there till after New Year's. Core memory right there, for sure. Alright, on the way to Frankfurt. Weather's looking better, which is why I'm nodding. But, yeah, you can see it off to the right. It seems like it's getting better, but I promise it won't. Airspeed again. Don't look at that. I also had a really big problem with internet during this flight. The terrain kept popping in and out, like the textures kept popping out and disappearing. And, well, not disappearing, but they were loading really low quality, so I don't know what that was about. Bad day of internet. Service provider probably just, had a little fart or something. But here's Frankfurt. I've actually stayed in Frankfurt a couple times. Flown in and out of Frankfurt. But explored, not at all. There's the airport. And our first stop after this is, of course, one of the few places that you can actually go with an F-16 that most places probably it wouldn't matter, but like most aircraft, I mean, you wouldn't be able to get into this place with. We're going to Ramstein. That's the point. Ramstein's pretty close to Frankfurt. I'd say 30 minutes maybe to the west. If you've ever been to Germany, then you will 100% know what a doner kebab is. And believe me when I say that they're having tried kebabs, the doner kebabs, everywhere in Germany. There are only two places of like extreme renown that I remember. The best two places in Germany for doner kebabs. Kaiserslautern, which is up ahead, and Nuremberg. Though I can't remember the names of either of those two restaurants. So, you just have to go and look. Or, you know, I'll go back and look. And I'll let you know. I misspelled Kaiserslautern. Of course, you know, by the time you see this, you won't even see it. Because I'll have fixed it. Oh, there it is below us. I had friends who lived here. We visited Ramstein quite a few times. Because we lived north of there. And, one of the things that I remember the most was that, like, you know, where we lived, it was practically impossible for you to stay on base. But there were Americans who lived on Ramstein who basically never stepped foot on German soil. And I thought that was super weird. Like, why go to Germany if you're not going to go to Germany? You know what I mean? It was always super weird going to Ramstein for us because it was almost a culture shock. You know, everything around us was European. And then, you know, you go to Ramstein, there's a Taco Bell, for God's sakes. So I don't think there was Taco Bell at Ramstein at the time. I think it was only at Wiesbaden. This would have been like 2003, so if anybody else in Europe remembers, that would be great to know. They had a huge Booksmart, though. Yeah, Ramstein Air Base. One of the things that I remember that was super cool about this base was that if you got on it after dark, like you drove on after dark, you'd pass by the runways and there would be floodlights everywhere. Like, the entire runway was floodlight. At least that's what it seemed. Like, no runway lights, just fully lit runways. That's what it seemed like. I could be wrong. We're not actually gonna land, we're just gonna do a little touch and go, so. Off we go. Into the wild blue yonder. Ignore me. That was a big base. I remember getting mad that there was so much space on the base. That, like, you know, everything was so far from each other. The church was far from the commissary, all that stuff. Because where we lived, you know, the closest base was Geilenkirchen, the NATO base, and it's like a 10-minute walk between the church and the NATEX. So first, though, we are going to head, I believe, northwest to Trier. Yeah, I love Trier. I spent quite a lot of time there, actually. That's actually the last bit of Germany that I actually remember seeing, to be honest. Something I've been trying to find here, actually, on my various flights over the top of it. There's Roman ruins in a cathedral somewhere. But no matter how many times I fly over Trier, I can never find them. I don't know why. Anyway, we're gonna peel off and head to, I believe Bitburg is next. Bitburg used to be a U.S. military base. I think it's been decommissioned by now and turned into German industrial parks. Yeah, Bitburg's first. It's a very, very short hop from Trier. I spent a lot of time on Bitburg too. It's one of the craziest places. Part of it was like legit modern, well, for the time, it was legit modern U.S. military structures. And then, like, you had the decommissioned part of the base, parts of the base that came from, like, you know, World War II, like the runway and various offices that were used by, like, the Nazis during World War II. And, it was really weird because, like, some of those places had restaurants, so I've eaten inside, like, an SS headquarters. But since it's all decommissioned, nothing's there anymore. Not even the commissary, which is the only reason that my mom ever wanted to go to Bitburg, so. We're gonna head off to Spangdahlem, which I believe is still there. It's a lot of military bases, a lot of U.S. military bases in Germany. I played baseball here. It's one of the only memories of Spangdahlem that I have. Well, actually, that's not true. We were supposed to go there for a baseball game, but somebody got their wires crossed and put a different time on there. And then we just ate at Burger King. It's a pretty good trip, for pretty good baseball trip, actually. But yeah, there's the Nürburgring. A little bit northeast of Bitburg and Spangdahlem. Continuing once again the tradition of visiting as many racetracks as we can during this whole thing. And then we are off to, I believe, Cologne. This is where we started to have a little bit of issues with the texture. You'll see it. Off camera, I guess you could say, I paused a couple times to give us some time to refresh. So I've edited those out, obviously, but I don't know. I don't know what was going on with the internet. Finally coming into Cologne. I know Cologne pretty well. Only the area around the cathedral, to be honest. But I love it. Yeah, we on the left there, you'll see a little island that's kind of outcropping. Right there, and there's like a museum looking thing on the edge. There's a chocolate museum actually next to the Ferris wheel. There's the cathedral and the Bahnhof below it. Cologne has one of the best Christmas markets of all of Germany, so if you want to go to a really good Christkindlmarkt, they have it. And there you can see a little bit of the internet crapping out on us. Off we go to Aachen. Aachen, once more, internet issues. I'm gonna stop complaining about it because I'm sure you're tired of hearing it, but yeah, this is pretty cool. I don't know what this is. It's a strip mine of some kind. Huge. Huge, huge, huge. We're at like Mach 1.5. So, just to give you a understanding. And then back into the weather. But you know what they say. In Germany, if you wait for a sunny day to do something, you'll never do it. So, by that logic, we needed to do this. We wouldn't have found a better way to do it. I don't know Aachen that well, to be honest. I've been here a couple times. We went to the hospital here, the Uniclinic. Which I should be able to point out, I think. They have a helipad actually right outside of it, so I don't think it's an actual helipad, like in the game. But there it is, right there. Uniclinic. It's huge. If it's so interesting architecture-wise too, because all the like pipes and air conditioning and electrical, all of it's on the outside, so that like nothing's on the inside. It's strange. Apparently we're stalling the aircraft trying to look at it too. Where is that? And then off to, I believe, Maastricht? I'm going to resort to Google Maps really quick, or Google Earth, I guess you could say. Yeah. It's called a Euroscoop. And it is directly below us, that white building. Sorry, Mike was a little bit too far away from me. Right there, my favorite theater. I saw Last Samurai there. And what was our next destination? I can't remember. Oh yeah, Brunsum. Going back home. Unfortunately, this is where the weather caught up with us again. It's really difficult to see things, and essentially it's just one big cloud that we have to fly through. Look at the rain. Yeah, you can see the terrain a little bit there is kind of blurry. So we're flying into Geilenkirchen to wait it out a little bit. See if the weather improves. But you can barely see the runway even, like, it's crazy. It's strange how the weather looks so much worse down here, doesn't it? It looks like it could be raining for weeks. But yeah, I took off the headset and just waited it out a tiny bit. It's actually quite a long break, to be honest. Not too small, but then we hopped out because I figured why not. Had this like 15 minutes waiting. Probably around 15 minutes. I don't remember the exact number. I had a hell of a time getting off the runway though because of the crosswind, so you are definitely not going to see this Then I hooked it around to Brunsum again, I think. Since it was close proximity, I was already along the flight path, so we were gonna head to my village after this, of course, because we're going to yeah, is Teveren down to the left? I believe that's Teveren. Could be wrong. And then off to Geilenkirchen. I'm pretty sure it was Teveren. And I believe after that we're at Sugaroth. Yeah, Sugaroth's up there. Right there on the left. That little tiny place. And then off to what? Yeah, I was gonna head to my village after this. Porcelain, close to Heinsberg and Bremen, but there's no point, like, at all in trying to get there. So we just kind of booked it for Brussels, which was the next stop on the trip anyway. Brussels is actually the airport that I first came into Europe in, or at. Came into Europe at. I landed in Brussels. We drove to Geilenkirchen. I'm guessing we took the E3014, because that's the only road that looks kind of like it's going all the way there, so. I spent a lot of time in all of this area. You know, the Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, France even, I guess, because we went on trips for scouts, Boy Scouts, all the time. And one of those trips happened to be here at Waterloo. So, the first time I flew this, actually, the first world tour, I guess the world update for this region hadn't dropped, so the Waterloo Memorial was actually just kind of garbage, but there it is now, and it looks pretty cool. And then we head north to the Flood Museum. Yeah, Brussels is pretty covered over. I've never been to Brussels proper, to be honest. I mean, the airport is northeast Brussels, so it's pretty much like when you leave the airport, you head to the highway, and you just never actually touch downtown Brussels. I'm sure we went once, but I couldn't tell you which one, or what time, and what we did. I actually had, I believe, an 8th grade field trip to this place that we're headed to. It's called I'm going to try to pronounce this. Watersnood Museum. Right there on the right, it's the Flood Museum. It's actually really, really cool, and I want to go back. I spent a lot of time in North Netherlands, doing a lot of different things. So this is a brief overview. I'm glad though that the weather kind of started to lift at this point. I think we're in Rotterdam? Maybe not yet. Nope, yeah, that's Rotterdam. I love the Netherlands. Especially the farmland country. Like, it's coastlines of farms. Coast and coast and coasts. People pay millions to have their house on the water, like near the water. But in the Netherlands, like, it's not a great thing to do because it's technically lower than sea level in some places. But still people do it. And they have the dikes to keep it out. Here's Utrecht. I think the internet was starting to continue to be bad at this point. The last place in second last place. Last place that I personally wanted to visit on this trip, let's say that, Walibi, Holland. There's actually another place here that I wanted to visit, but I never found on Google Maps. And it's kind of a resort camping area. I'm pretty sure it's close to Amsterdam. But yeah, Walibi Holland used to be Six Flags. And when I went there, it was Six Flags Holland. But it's since been sold or bought or something. So, it's just strange. Like, it's in the middle of farms. Here we are over Amsterdam. We're close to Amsterdam. I believe that was Almerstad. Yeah, we're in that area. I would love to give a tour of Amsterdam as well, but the only two places that I really remember are the Van Gogh Museum and the Anne Frank House and the Hard Rock Cafe, which... No, I don't think I actually went to the Hard Rock Cafe in Amsterdam, did I? Plus, the canals don't look very good. Like in this game. They're there. You can go look at them, but they just don't look the same. Alright. Coming up on the last home stretch of this. Passing over The Hague. And down to Dunkirk and Calais. There's Dunkirk, which, if you know anything about World War II history, I believe it's World War II. Forgive me, it might be World War I, I don't remember. No, it's definitely World War II, there were Spitfires. Yeah. There's a really good movie actually about this. But it's a thing of English pride, that whole situation, so here we are in Calais, which I believe is France? Actually, I think Dunkirk's in France too, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah. And then we're gonna hook a right and cross the channel and leave Central Europe for England. And of course you could do this several different ways. I always prefer to fly super low over the channel because it makes you think of World War, like World War I or World War II, like crossing the channel under radar. It's definitely World War II.
Altitude.
People are going to be so angry watching this video. Probably 20 feet above the water.
Altitude. Altitude.
So the English don't see us.
Altitude.
And here's Dover. I was thinking about going like straight towards like Dover proper and hooking it in through the valley, but you can't visit Dover without flying over the White Cliffs. So Dover at one point was the home of hovercraft, which I wish I could have seen. And I think since then that's actually the entrance to the channel. So actually I could be wrong. I need to look that up. I don't think I've ever known where the entrance to the channel was. I always assumed it was Dover and Calais, but what if I'm wrong? How embarrassing would that be? Yeah, we're gonna follow the Thames. Oh no, it is in Dover. It definitely is in Dover. Ignore me. Yeah, here's London. We're actually going to come downwind for London City Airport. I don't know why, but I decided to go all the way down to the M25 for my downwind. We're not a big aircraft, and it's not a big airport, so it kind of felt like unnecessary. But it does make for a spectacular approach, so. Yeah, that's pretty much it. All of Central Europe. Next flight after this, I believe, is a tour of England, or tour of London. And then a small little bit of. No, I believe we tour pretty much all of England after that. And end up in either the Faroe Islands or Scotland. I can't remember which. So, I will see you all in that video. And I really hope that the like monumental number of distractions that have taken place in this audio recording end up not messing up the entire flow of this. So, we'll see. I'll jump in every now and then and do a cursory? I need sleep. Thank you all for watching. Bye.